How are you? Welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to talk with you about whole meal salads. And by that, I simply mean that you grab everything you want for dinner and throw it in a salad bowl, put a nice dressing on it, and go to town. Two things will happen. One, you'll enjoy your vegetables more. And secondly, you'll probably cut down a little bit on your meat intake. But these are pretty rich things I'm going to make for you today, and they're very easy to do, and I think they're just marvelous. First of all, let's make a broccoli and chicken salad. Now, this means that you have to have your chicken cooked ahead of time. You see, I've poached this particular batch, so I have some chicken cooked ahead of time, and now we need to blanch the broccoli, and I want to chill that for a while. So let me show you what to do. When you blanch vegetables, please be sure and put a little oil in the pot. You notice that I have my vegetables already cut up, and let me talk to you a bit about broccoli. When you purchase broccoli, be sure that when you buy the broccoli, you'll check the bottom so that the stem does not have a big opening in it, a big cut. That would mean it is too fibrous. You know what I mean? It has a big opening in it. That means it is very tough stem, and you don't want that. Buy broccoli that is solid and tender and nice at the bottom. And I've cut it up into small flowerettes, small pieces, you see, and we're going to blanch this now. Oh, about 2 heads. About 2 heads of broccoli. My water is boiling, and I'm going to put in a shot of peanut oil. Simply because, oh, peanut oil's over here. Simply because I want to preserve the color of the vegetable, and a little oil will do that. Just a tablespoon or so, maybe 2, in several quarts of water, and now we'll throw in our vegetable, and it will stay bright green. And that's what you want. You want these salads to really look terribly appetizing. It's going to take just a minute to blanch this. And at that point, by a minute I'm lying to you, I mean about probably about 5 minutes, you see, because the water was just barely boiling. And at the end of that time, what I want you to do is to remove it from the pot and plunge it into cold water. What we don't want is overcooked vegetables. You see? Look how bright that green is. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? You see? They're much brighter now than they were when we put them in there. And the peanut oil will help that maintain its color. And certainly the cold water will stop the cooking and help it maintain its crunch, which is what we want. We want some crunchiness. Now, I would drain that, and then I have a batch here all ready for us that we can use right away. Cold, cold salad, you see? Here's my broccoli. So into the broccoli now. This is already chilled, and it's very tender and nice. We're going to put some chicken. Oh, this is 2 or 3 chicken breasts. And then we're going to add, I bet that bowl isn't going to be big enough, huh? I get into these jams all the time. Let's get a bigger one. Here we are. There we go. That'll help. Now, to our broccoli, we're going to add some chopped green onions. I suggest 4 or 5, and I have mine already cut up because I have so many salads I want to make for you today. And cut them up fairly fine, you see, but not tiny. I can't stand everything all so finely ground that it no longer has any crunch to it. You know, you can't go too far on chopping vegetables. Just kind of whack them up so you can get them in your mouth without any embarrassing things sticking out the sides. You see, otherwise you're going to have something too tender and too cooked down. How about a cup of parsley? Have my 2 heads of broccoli, a couple breasts of chicken, 4 or 5 green onions chopped, a cup of chopped parsley, and now we're going to whip up a salad dressing. And the salad dressing is a snap to make. And I think you'll like this dressing. You can use it on other things as well. I want a cup of cottage cheese. Excuse me, I want a 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. I have all the spoons around here. Here's a little one. Here we go. 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. And to that, I want to add a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. And I like good mayonnaise. Don't buy cheap stuff. Or if you want to cut down on fat, of course, you can use a low-cal mayonnaise. They call it imitation, and of course it isn't imitation at all. It simply means it has fewer calories in it, much less oil. All right, so far I have mayonnaise, cottage cheese. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of each of these now, mayonnaise and cottage cheese. We're going to add 1/2 cup of milk to thin this down. This is a very nice dressing. It's fairly low-cal if you use a low-cal cottage cheese and a low-cal mayonnaise. Then we want a tablespoon of olive oil to give it a little bit richer flavor. And then I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of wine vinegar. And you can use white or you can use red. I better not use red. You know, it's going to discolor, isn't it? If we put a red vinegar in here, it's going to really kind of upset the whole color scheme. So let's use a white vinegar. This is good Italian wine vinegar. A couple tablespoons. Alrighty. And now we need to add a pinch of sugar, just to cut down on the, oh boy, look at the lumps, huh? The weather does it, doesn't it? There we are, a pinch of sugar. What is that? That's 1/4 of a teaspoon, I suppose. That's pretty close. And lots of pepper. And we're going to add a little bit of garlic. What do I mean a little bit? Well, That's really up to you. But I love a good fat clove of garlic in this dish. The chicken will appreciate it. And the broccoli will certainly feel at home. Did you know that if you grow garlic in your yard, it will keep the aphids off of your plants? Did you know that? The tomatoes, for instance, cannot stand to, or the aphids cannot stand garlic, but the tomato loves it. So when the old aphid comes in and hangs onto your tomato plant, why, put some garlic in between. Grow some garlic and you'll be all set. And they'll leave right away. All right, let's dress that salad. Did you get the dressing recipe now? Half a cup of milk, half a cup of cottage cheese, and a half a cup of mayonnaise. Then we added a tablespoon of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of wine vinegar, a pinch of sugar, a bit of garlic, some salt and pepper, and now the clincher is going to be some dried dill. I absolutely love dill weed, and this will be great on this salad. What is that? Oh, that's a good fat teaspoon, I suppose. And the salads are ready to go. Now, one of you has already said, good Lord, he's not going to use his hands today. Well, this one would get kind of messy, but normally I do use my hands. Isn't this beautiful? You can make this ahead of time. I appreciate the question. Yes, you can make it ahead of time and then store it in the reefer, but I wouldn't do it more than a couple of hours before dinner. You know, you don't want anything to get soggy. But it is a good plan to have everything in the reefer when your guests come, or everything ready on the stove, so that you don't have to go running to the kitchen at the last minute, you see. That's a terrible thing to have to do. Isn't this gorgeous? Chicken and broccoli and everything is cold and crunchy, dressed with cottage cheese and dill dressing. Lemon juice, perhaps? Yes, instead of the vinegar, you could do that, sure. There it is. Isn't that terrific? I love it. I just love that one. Let's put it out here, and we can go on to the next one, because I'm going to have a whole stack of these. I'm trying to make 6 for you today. We'll see if we get there. Isn't that a beauty? Now, the second one I want to do for you is a roast beef salad. And for a roast beef salad, we're going to prepare our beef. We're going to either buy it at a deli. Let's clean off the cottage cheese and milk here. There we go. There. That was a flake of garlic peel that was stuck on the counter, and that's just terrible when you run into that in your food, so be sure and keep your boards clean. Anyhow, I purchased the roast beef in a deli, or I roasted my own, whichever you prefer. Cut it up into strips. This looks like a little more than I should have cut, I suppose. For your family, probably half a pound would do well, because we don't want to go too far with it. Let's see, another bowl here. There we go. Here's our roast beef salad. Throw the roast beef in the bowl. What else are we going to add? Well, to our roast beef now, we're going to add about 8 stalks of celery, and I have mine, again, already cut up because I have so many salads for you today. 8 stalks, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's plenty. 8 stalks of celery, cut up fine. Cut up so that at least they're crunchy and nice, you see. Then we need some green onion, about 6 green onions. I just love green onions in roast beef. It's terrific. And a tablespoon of caper. There they are. You know, capers are these marvelous little seeds that, to me, they taste as a nasturtium smells. But they are not of that nasturtium family. I thought they were. One of you wrote in and set me straight. They're not at all. Okay, we have the half a pound of roast beef, 8 stalks of celery, 6 green onions, and a tablespoon of capers. Now let's whip up a dressing. And for this dressing, I want 1/8 of a cup of olive oil. We're just going to make a light one here, see? Very light. 1/8 of a cup of olive oil. Boop. And about the same amount of white wine vinegar. There we are. And then we're going to add some salt and pepper to that. It's very simple, really. A little bit of salt and pepper. There we go. And we need a couple tablespoons of Dijon mustard. And by Dijon, I simply mean a good mustard from France or a French style. That's not a brand, but a kind of mustard. In our culture, the best one for you would probably be put out by Grey Poupon, something like that, you see. It'll say Dijon right in the bottle. It's not all yellow, full of turmeric, you see. A couple tablespoons of mustard. And then we want to add a coddled egg. And you know what a coddled egg is? A coddled egg is an egg that's been sitting in hot water. Not boiling, but hot water, the hottest you can get it out of the tap, you see? And this is a coddled egg. That doesn't have the raw flavor anymore. There it is. That's all there is to it. I have one more in here in case I blew the first one, you see. But you need just 1 coddled egg, and now we're ready to whip that with a fork, and we'll have a lovely dressing for a roast beef salad. There you go. Oh, I love it. I just love it. I really do enjoy this particular dish. My boys are fond of this one, and it's great fun to hear them cheer. Isn't it a kick when the people you love want to give you a hug because the dinner's so good? That's really what I live for. It's the truth. That hug, you know, that hug is just worth everything. Just worth everything. All right, we'll toss the roast beef, the vegetables. We have the roast beef, celery, green onions, and then the dressing that we've prepared, about 1/8 of a cup of olive oil, 1/8 of a cup of wine vinegar, some salt and pepper, a couple tablespoons of Dijon mustard, and 1 coddled egg. And coddled simply means put in hot water so that the raw flavor goes. It doesn't mean that you've cooked it. Now I'm going to transfer that to something more attractive. Doesn't that look horrible in stainless steel? And by more attractive, I mean a nice wooden salad bowl and some lettuce on the outside so that the roast beef doesn't look quite so lonely here. There we are. There. Oh, this is just great. Just terrific. I served this at a big faculty meeting at a Lutheran university in Tacoma one day, and I've never had so many compliments on a salad in my life. There it is, roast beef salad. Got it? Nothing to it. Now, for our third one, my God, he's going to keep going. Yes, we're going to keep going. This one, this is a Norwegian spaghetti salad. Now, you may think that, you may find this a little bit suspicious, but it's really a good salad. Well, can't find enough bowls. We're going to use the same one over again. Don't feel bad if you keep using the same bowl over again. For heaven's sakes, it's perfectly all right, as long as you don't mix the wrong flavors. I have spaghetti that I've already cooked, you see? That's an awful lot here for our salad. I think it'll be all right. And to our spaghetti, we're going to add the following goodies. There we are. We need to add some peas and carrots, and I took them right out of the sack. You see? These are frozen peas and carrots. Took them out of the bag, ran them under hot water, and then drained them. I didn't cook them at all. You don't have to bother. That's terrific. Crunchy vegetables and spaghetti is just marvelous. Now we're going to put some shrimp on top, but our dressing consists of the following. Here we go. We want 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, huh? Mayonnaise. 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, and the same amount of sour cream. And sour cream is just heaven. I just love it. Probably too much butter fat for me. You can use a mock sour cream. You know, I've showed you how to make one out of osterizing or putting cottage cheese in a food blender and just blend it until it's the consistency of sour cream with a little bit of milk, nothing to it, and it'll cut down on your butter content. You see, animal fat content. Now I want 2 dill pickles chopped up.